Have you ever caught yourself judging someone for how they spent their money? Maybe they bought something you thought was completely unnecessary. Maybe they weren't saving enough. Or maybe they took a financial risk that you would never dream of taking. Now, gently ask yourself this question. What if their decision made perfect sense to them? Research shows that our money decisions are never just about numbers. They are shaped by emotions, memories, fears, and our personal history. And here's why this understanding matters so much. If you don't understand how people truly think about money, you may judge them unfairly. You may follow advice that doesn't actually fit your life. And most importantly, you may never fully understand your own habits. Everyone's money mindset comes from different life experiences. What works beautifully for one person can feel completely wrong for another. So today, let's slow down together and explore the deeper psychology behind our relationship with money. Because once you truly understand this, you don't just become smarter with money. You become wiser with people and with yourself. Studies show that most of our deepest beliefs about money are formed very early in life. Not in classrooms or finance books, but right at home, around the dinner table. Think about this for a moment. A child who constantly hears the words, "We can't afford that," will grow up carrying a very different money mindset than a child who hears, "Money comes and goes. We'll figure it out." Now, you might be wondering, does this really stay with us as adults? Yes. Much more than we realize. Let me share two simple but powerful stories. Rahul grew up in a small town where his parents struggled to pay the bills every month. Every single purchase was discussed carefully. Even buying a new pair of shoes felt like a big earns a good income. But every time he spends even a little money, he feels a quiet unease in his chest. On the other hand, there's Aman. He grew up in a financially comfortable home where vacations, dining out, and new gadgets were just a normal part of life. Today, Aman spends more freely. Sometimes, perhaps, too freely. Same age. Similar income levels. Completely different financial behavior. Why? Because their past quietly guides their present. So let me ask you, what did money feel like in your childhood? Was it scarce? Anxious? Generous? Secretive? Joyful? Psychological research tells us that lived experience shapes our behavior far more powerfully than information alone. You can read about financial risk in 100 books, but actually feeling the pain of loss is something entirely different. Here's where it gets really interesting. Imagine two people. One person only reads about a major stock market crash in a book. The other person actually lived through it and lost a big part of their savings. Who do you think will be more cautious with money for the rest of their life? Exactly. The second person doesn't just know about risk. They feel it in their bones. I once had a friend tell me, "I understood investing perfectly in theory. But the first time my portfolio dropped 25%, I couldn't sleep for weeks. That experience changed how I invest forever." Even when two people have the exact same information, their emotional history can lead them to completely different decisions. Think back to a financial mistake you've made in your own life. What did that mistake teach you that no book or podcast ever could? Another powerful factor is timing, when and where you were born, and the economic conditions you experienced their career during a booming economy often develops the belief that opportunities are everywhere. But someone who begins working during a deep recession? They tend to believe that life is uncertain, and it's wiser to be very careful. Neither person is wrong. They're simply responding to the reality they actually lived through. Let me give you a relatable example. Two cousins graduate college in different years. One lands a great job almost immediately and sees investments grow quickly. Years later, he's confident and comfortable taking calculated risks. The other cousin graduates right into a tough economy and struggles for months to find work. Years later, she saves aggressively and avoids uncertainty whenever possible. Same family. Different timing. Very different money mindsets. How has the timing of your own life shaped the way you view money? Here's something important to remember. Most financial decisions that look strange or irrational from the outside actually make perfect sense inside the person's own world. Take something as simple as buying lottery tickets. On the surface, it seems like a terrible financial choice. But shift your perspective. For someone who has struggled for years, that lottery ticket isn't really about statistics. It's about hope. It's a small moment where life could suddenly change. Sometimes, people aren't just buying an outcome. They're buying a feeling. Have you ever spent money not because it was logical, but simply because of how it made you feel? We don't make money decisions with cold spreadsheets alone. We make them through the stories we tell ourselves. Stories like, I need to feel secure. I deserve this reward. Life is short, I might not get another chance. These stories feel logical to us, but they are deeply emotional. Let's bring this all together gently. People are not irrational with money. They are shaped by their past experiences, their emotions,
shouldn't be
and the
to
stories
judge.
they carry. It should be to understand, first ourselves, and then others. Because when you do understand, you can start making better decisions that actually fit your life. You can become kinder toward other people's choices. And you can create a financial path that feels authentic to who you really are. Your financial behavior is never random. It is a reflection of your unique story. And here's the beautiful part. Stories can evolve. Gently. With awareness. Over time. So carry this awareness with you from today onward. Thank you so much for listening today. If this resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. What did money feel like in your childhood? How has timing or a specific experience shaped your money mindset? Share your story. If you found value here, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Until next time, be kind to yourself and a little more curious about others. Take care.